30. Number 30, you are given that A is 20, little a is 10, and little c is 11. So the first thing you want to do is just draw your quick diagram and go through the rules. A, B, C, we have 20, a 10, and 11. Once again, this falls into the side-side angle category, which means you have to go through those 4 possible scenarios. In this case, the angle is A, the side across it is little a, and the other given side is the side C. So you go through those 4 possibilities. Still yours again. You go through your 4 possibilities and check what's going to happen. Well, is 11 sine of 20 greater than 10? Is 11 sine of 20 equal to 10? Is 11 sine of 20 smaller than 10 but smaller than 11? And then is 10 bigger than 11? So you're checking those 4 scenarios out, to see which one works. Well, this one didn't work, this one didn't work, that one doesn't work, which leaves you, which means you're going to have how many triangles? 2. So here's what you do. This means that there's going to be 2 possible sets of angles. Now, what is the first angle that this problem is asking you to solve for that you're going to be able to? Okay, bueno. See, yes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is use the sine of 20 is to 10 as the sine of C is to 11. Quick multiply stuff through, you wind up with 11 sine of 20 over 10 is the sine of C. When you type all that into your calculator, with any luck, you get 22.1 for C. Now, what happens here is that since you could have 2 triangles, C could either be 22.1 or the supplement to it. It could be either one. Okay? Because if you think about it, the sine of an angle is positive occurs in 2 different locations. Sine is positive in 2 spots, first and second quadrant. So what you're doing is you're trying to find, you're using the 22.1 as a reference angle to get the other angle. Yeah, so it's either going to be or 157.9. So that means now, in order to solve for angle B and for side B, you use these 2 angles and you solve them twice. That's it. So that means that angle B, if I'm using 22.1 for angle C, that means it gives me 42.1 between these 2 degrees, or these 2 angles. I subtract that from 180, and that gives me, I wrote it down here, 137.9. Or if I use the 157.9 and the 20, that gives me 2.1, I believe. So it gives you 2 possible sets of angles for B and for C. This is what happens when you get the 2 triangle scenario. What you're doing here is remembering that sine is positive in the first quadrant, your y values are positive, and they're positive in the second quadrant. So you could have an angle that's between 0 and 90, or you can have an angle between 90 and 180. Once you find this angle, think of that you're using that almost as a reference to get to the other quadrant, what it could possibly be left over with. That's what it looks like. Okay. That's just the one trick when you have the 2 triangles set up. You take the angle that you find, subtract it from 180, and then you're just going to do law signs with B as 137.9 and B as 2.1 to find the 2 possible side lengths of angle B. Okay. So you wind up with sine of 20 is to 10, as sine of 137.9 is to little b, or the sine of 20 is to 10, as the sine 2.1 is to little b. That gives you the two possible side lengths. Okay. And I believe when you do that, if you do that correctly, you get 19.6 or 1.07. That's how you do the two triangle problem. All right. Oops.